Ka May Ha May Ha. Seriously? You would think after all these years I would have figured it out by now, but I guess not. I even had my lucky sweatbands on this time. I'll figure it out someday. Anyway, hey guys, and welcome to another episode of the show. Today, we're going to be taking a look at one of my favorite arcs in Dragon Ball Z. Dragon Ball, Dragon Ball Z, Dragon Ball Super. It's my favorite arc out of any of them. So, yeah, we're just going to be talking today about what my favorite arc is and why it's my favorite arc. So, do you have a minute to talk about my favorite arc in all of Dragon Ball? Greetings, my faithful viewers, and welcome to another awesome episode of Matt's Minutes. You know, come to think of it, while I was speaking, I just realized I've had these sweatbands since like my freshman year of high school, which would have maybe sophomore, something like that. I think that would have been like 2006, 2007. Something like that. That's a long time. I feel like these deserve their own little like mention or something like that. Anyway, so today we're going to be taking a look at my favorite arc in all of Dragon Ball. And for those of you wondering, no, it's not the Vegeta arc. No, it's not the Frieza arc. No, it's not the Cell arc. No, it's not the Buu arc. And no, it's definitely not anything in Super. Yeah, we're actually going back to original Dragon Ball for this one. Yes, I'm one of the few people who has seen the original Dragon Ball, and if you haven't seen it, trust me, you're missing out, but keep in mind parts of it really haven't aged all that well. But anyway, and so my favorite arc in all of Dragon Ball media is the final World Tournament arc. I believe the 23rd Budokai Tournament might be 20, I don't know. The one with Goku versus Piccolo Jr. Phenomenal arc, let me just say. It was amazing. For those of you that haven't seen it or read it or anything, I'm actually going to do a very quick recap, and in there I'll kind of be pointing out some points as to what makes it so good to me. Keep in mind I'm going to be going off of the manga because I have read the manga for that chapter so many times. And I don't really, I know I've seen the anime version of it, but I don't remember it as much as the manga just because I've read the manga more. It starts off like a few years after the Goku versus original Piccolo fight. So Goku was maybe 12 at the time, 13. He wasn't very old. He was still in his like kid Goku phase. We'd just come out of what at the time had been the most impactful and darkest arc in Dragon Ball up to that point. You know, leading to the death of Krillin, the death of Chaozu, Master Roshi, almost the death of Tien. I think somebody else died, but I don't remember who it was. But like, there was a lot of death, and Piccolo actually looked like he was going to win until Goku fought him and literally won with only being able to use one arm because both of his legs and his other arm were broken, and it was a very stressful fight. Then we see that King Piccolo spit out an egg, which would come back to assault Goku. Even Goku didn't see this at the time. Nobody knew about it. It wasn't until Goku had met Kami that he found out about it. And so Kami, who is Piccolo's other half, decided to train Goku to beat the other Piccolo. And so flash forward like I think 3 years, maybe 4, and we get to the 23rd Budokai Tournament. And this is the first time we've seen Goku in his adult form. And, you know, people don't really know what to expect. So anyway, we get into the tournament. The main cast qualifies for the tournament. Of course they do. The first fight is Tien versus Tao Pai Pai, who was the other person in charge of the Crane School where Tien learned from. And so it's kind of this arc for Tien to kind of come full circle and close the old chapter of his life and now fully commit to the fact that he is part of the good guys and own it. The second fight was Goku versus Chi-Chi, where he didn't remember who she was. They got engaged, that was about it. The third fight, Krillin versus Piccolo Jr. From this point on, we're just gonna call him Piccolo, because that's gonna be easier. But know that I'm referring to Piccolo Jr. unless I would say King Piccolo, who's his dad. So Krillin versus Piccolo. And this is one that from the very start, everyone knows Krillin's gonna lose this fight. But Krillin puts up a remarkable fight, and for a while is actually able to hold his own against Piccolo. Now, does he get destroyed a lot of times? Yeah, I mean, it's Krillin. You kind of expect that. But does he hold his own against Piccolo and actually surprise him? Yeah. And Piccolo's actually says at the beginning, or at the end of the fight, that conquering the world's not going to be as easy as he thought it was, and that's because Krillin did that. The last fight is Yamcha versus some dude. And I don't remember if it had been revealed to the audience yet, but I think at some point during the fight, or slightly before, you find out that the dude is Kami, who had just possessed another person. And so nobody knew who he was, and this dude was like some random dude from the audience. Like, nobody knew he was any good, and so he ends up, doesn't even look like he's trying, and just destroying Yamcha. And finally, Yamcha's not able to get a good hit on this guy at all until he busts out a brand new technique and nails him square in the jaw with the Spirit Ball. Awesome use of it. Really wish Yamcha was seen using that again outside of the games. And then he gets knocked out of the ring. So everyone's kind of confused and wondering what happened. Go on to the next fight. Tien versus Goku. Kind of a rematch from the 22nd World Budokai Tournament. And they seem pretty evenly matched for the most part until Goku starts taking off his weighted clothes and everyone's like, oh, he's been fighting with over 200 pounds of weights on him at any time. And at which point Goku utterly ends the fight. The final confrontation of the semifinals is Piccolo versus Kami. Now, what's weird about this fight is this is the first time that I remember anyway that they speak Namekian, or they called it Demon back then because Namekians weren't a thing, and it was really odd because just to hear that, or I guess read that, and then Kami tries to seal up Piccolo, and Piccolo reverses it and traps Kami in a bottle, effectively winning the match. Now we go on to the finals. Goku versus Piccolo. The moment we've all been waiting for. And there's a lot going into this fight from the get-go. Goku's at a huge disadvantage from the start. Number one, he can't kill Piccolo for multiple reasons. One, it's against the rules in the tournament. Number two, if he kills Piccolo, Kami dies too. And three, he can't really destroy Piccolo because if he destroys Piccolo with Kami in that bottle inside of Piccolo could regenerate from it, not that Goku knows that at the time, but if he accidentally destroys Kami, he'll destroy Piccolo too. Which means we lose the Dragon Balls. That's a pretty big deal at the time. So, Goku can't destroy him. He also can't step out of bounds because Goku is still fighting under the rules of the tournament. To him, he has to win this tournament for himself to prove to him how far he's gone. And this is his goal. He wants to win the tournament. But also, finally, Goku is having to play defense because Piccolo doesn't care if any of the bystanders die. Goku does. So he's having to protect all of them, try and not kill Piccolo so that he can save Kami, and fight under tournament rules. Piccolo, on the other hand, doesn't care about any of those. So that kind of really is hard for Goku. Not to mention, Goku at this point has not shown that he can fly, but Piccolo has, also putting him on the back foot. That was kind of a lot going into the fight, but now, once we actually get into the fight, it is just stunning. This is one of the times that the martial arts is put on front, but is what the techniques that they use are also put on the front. And the two complement each other very, very well. I find that in later on in Z and especially in Super, martial arts is put on the back burner instead of now it's, oh, cool, we're gonna do these new techniques. And in this one, it's really not. You know, the techniques are cool, but also the martial arts is cool, and I like that balance. And I like how Goku goes through a bunch of different things to complete his goals. Yes, he ends up winning the fight and against Piccolo. He ends up saving Kami and does not go out of the arena. And no one dies. Like, Goku does, with the odds stacked against him, he wins on every count, which is amazing. Going back to the techniques for a second before I forget, some of the techniques that we see in this fight are just incredible and ones that I really wish we would have seen, such as Piccolo extending his arm. Why do we not see that more in Z? That's amazing. With how many Namekians are in Z, especially in the Frieza arc, why do we never see this again? Or Piccolo growing to gargantuan sizes but not losing any speed? Like, that would have been super useful against Nappa. Why do we never see this again? Does it, like, I don't know. This is also the introduction of the Super Kamehameha. The first time Goku ever, or anyone ever uses it is in this. And ironically, it doesn't seem to really do much, because Piccolo's not really all that hurt by it, and it doesn't really hamper Goku to use it at all. He seems totally, like, fine. Even Master Roshi made some comment on, it doesn't seem like his chi went down, which, I mean, that's cool, I guess. But we also see a really cool Kamehameha through the feet. Yeah, Goku uses a Kamehameha from his feet, launching himself into Piccolo and getting one good hit on him. That was amazing. There are just a lot of cool abilities on display in this fight from both combatants, which is cool. And I like how, you know, Goku used Piccolo's big size against him to show, like, this is one of the best times we ever see Goku as a strategist, which we really don't see, especially in Super. He's kind of dumb. But in this we see Goku actually has a brain and knows what he's doing in a fight. So much so that when Piccolo goes big, Goku immediately urges him to go bigger. And when he does, he flies in his throat and saves Kami. That's amazing. And then Piccolo reverts back because he doesn't want Goku to do that again. That makes a lot of sense. Another reason why I love this fight, besides the conclusion, besides the character growth that we see both Goku and Piccolo go through, the techniques, the stakes, the fact that it's the last arc of Dragon Ball, is also a lot of different places in the Dragon Ball Z and Super anime and manga steal from this fight in some way, shape, or form, and you can see it throughout all the arcs. So take the Vegeta arc, for example. Vegeta grows really big. We also see the Super Kamehameha. So him growing big is kind of a reference to Piccolo growing big in this fight, though it's done differently. But I kind of like them both, but for different reasons. Take Frieza, the introduction. Wow, fail. The introduction of Namekians was a big one, but also the homing attack. Goku had not had to deal with one up until this point, and Piccolo used one on him, which Goku was then able to use against Piccolo, which he tried to do again against Frieza, which if it wasn't for that, Goku might not have had the experience to dodge Frieza's as easily as he did Piccolo's. So that was pretty cool. Take the Cell games. Cell's trying to capture what there was during the 23rd Budokai tournament, and kind of pretty much fails miserably with the tournament because by that point their powers are too high to really just do it in that little arc. And we see the Budokai tournament again coming back in the Buu arc at the beginning, which, do with that as you will, that's fine. But Buu took one of my favorite things about Goku, and Frieza did this too, but to a little bit lesser extent, and that is that Goku lets his opponent live so that he can fight them again someday. With Piccolo, he is literally on the verge of death, and Goku asks for 2 senzu beans, one for himself and says he needs another. He then gives it to Piccolo and says, I want you to get stronger so we can do this again so that I can train, so that I have something to look forward to. I want to fight you again someday, and hopefully as a good person. What does he say to Kid Buu as he's dying? He wants to fight him again as a good person, and Kid Buu comes back as Oob. So we see this theme, you know, we see elements of this fight scattered throughout Dragon Ball, and I just think that's really, really cool, and shows to me how much of an impact this fight had, not only on the audience, but on the series as a whole. So that's why I love this fight. I want to know what you guys think about, like, what is your favorite arc of Dragon Ball? Do you agree with me, or do you think that there's a better one? A lot of people are probably going to say Frieza, and that's okay. The Frieza arc is phenomenal, and Frieza is by far the best villain in Dragon Ball. But that's a video for another day. If you guys want, I can easily do a lot of other Dragon Ball videos, such as who is the best character, who has the best arc. You know, there's a lot of different elements we can go to with Dragon Ball. So I want to hear from you guys what you want to hear or see on this channel if you want more Dragon Ball related content. I know a lot about Dragon Ball and I love Dragon Ball, so I would love to keep talking about Dragon Ball. Just let me know what you guys want to hear. If you like this video, please give it a like, or if you agree with me, please give it a like. Either one, I won't know the difference, honestly. Subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you guys shortly. Thank you guys so much for tuning in today. I really do appreciate it.